Hello and welcome everybody out there in YouTube and D&D land. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Before we jump into the action, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this content. If you want to support us any further than that, consider becoming a member here on our YouTube channel. Members gain access to a few special perks, mostly our emotes. I like our emotes a lot. They're pretty sniffy, pretty nifty. In addition to that, if you want to join our community, you can join us in our Patreon. Link to that is down in the description below. Go ahead and click that, opens you up, brings you into the Patreon itself. Get yourself set up inside of our Discord server, and you can even put yourself on the waitlist to join games like this one if you are interested in joining any of them. But I believe that's going to be all my self-promoing, so let's get into the action. Go ahead, Argan. Tell us what happened last session.
All right, so last session, Fordrum was the first one to wake up, and he decided to let the rest of us sleep. So we got to sleep in a little bit till Fordrum's mom came out with breakfast, woke us all up with the smell of breakfast alone. So we had some breakfast, found out that she had repaired our boots to probably better than they were when we first bought them. And then Fordrum took us out shopping so I could go buy some ink. On the way, we met a new person, Sinclair, who told us that he had been sent by Delilah to find Fordrum and give him a book he needed to be able to reforge Jasper's sword. So after talking with him, Fordrum decided to go to his family's jewelry shop to start refining the diamond that he had. And the rest of us went shopping. Sinclair joined us. We got a little lost while shopping and a little distracted and spent most of our time buying knickknacks and souvenirs until eventually a local took pity on us and directed us to the hibachi shop, where we went in to find what evidently we thought was an invisible clerk or something, or some sort of magic. I got the ink, and Sinclair figured out that it was an imp that was running the shop. And as he started showing us the good stuff, Fordrum caught up with us. And we did a bunch of haggling back and forth, eventually giving up the brooch that Corvus got from Belle de Marie and a little bit of gold in exchange for a couple of brand new shiny spell scrolls and a special component that will help empower other spells. So after that, we headed back to the jewelry shop, and I started prepping the ritual to cast Legend Lore, while Fordrum and Sinclair started reading through the book, through the information they found about the history of it, and that it was going to take Fordrum's father's new heating method with lava to form the blade to keep it heated. We cast the spell where we saw a vision of a beast god named Craven getting attacked by a naval armada until they managed to knock one of the spines off of his body, where then one of them took off with it and came back a few weeks later with the battle still raging, and they had formed a sword, Craven's Edge, out of the spine. One member of the Navy killed his crew as a sacrifice to empower the sword, and then flew up and had a battle with Craven, eventually killing him, and appeared to not want to give up the power once he had it, but was subdued by the rest of his crew, and they locked up Craven's Edge. Then we went through a couple of more visions of people retrieving Craven's Edge and then leading it into battle, even in the middle of the cataclysm, till eventually we saw a final vision of what appeared to us to be a vampire come in, grab the sword, but never actually unsheath it, and then took it with him as he headed off to Whitestone.
Yeah. And that is everything you divined. See, puns. We have fun here. From your spell. As you all just witnessed the multicolored, wispy essence formulating this entire story for you all, this is where we begin our session. So, players, go ahead, begin.
Well, there appears to be quite a bit of history to this. Are we sure
Y'all-
this is something we want to reforge?
Y'all want to bring this thing back to its original power?
I mean, it's mostly for Jasper.
Don't get me wrong. I'm all for the restoration of a powerful magic item and being involved in that process.
It just doesn't have to
but
be
you're talking about
this
bodies.
magic item.
You're talking about a blade that's literally got the dead in it.
Well, you know, all magic has costs. Some more than others. I'm not suggesting we wield it. I'm certainly not going to wield it. I'd be terrible with it. My sword arm is
Do
pathetic.
you think she wants this blade back? Or does she want Jasper to use it?
It's probably a pretty safe assumption that she would want it back. Because
Jasper chimes up. Yeah, that's what she told me. She wants it back so that she can use that to resurrect her husband.
That's a whole other thing we have to talk about. But
So do we think maybe her husband was the last person that wielded this?
it would certainly seem that way to us.
Or there's some power in this blade that affects the dead that
Could be.
a normal
That's also plausible.
revival type magic wouldn't do.
Maybe he was trapped in it. Maybe it's powered by trapping souls of the dead. Maybe that's why he sacrificed, the original guy sacrificed people. Maybe he's trapped in the sword and he can't get out because it's broken. Maybe
that makes some sense.
that's the best theory I can come up with.
It's a good theory.
I don't know much about. I don't know anything beyond of the history of this sword beyond this. Though evidently, from what I saw, it was kept buried in the Lyceum, my home.
Do you think there might be some more knowledge in your home?
Of that, I have no doubt. There's bound to be somebody there that knows more than I do about it. If not my parents, then one of the other professors or the headmaster for sure.
Yeah.
But that is a very long trip.
Yeah.
I wonder if... Wonder if there's anything that could be done if it's forged more ceremoniously and with a different faith at the...
You know.
I in no way doubt your abilities or your faith, Fordrum, but I imagine it will be hard enough to reforge an artifact of this power. It'll be another,
Let alone to change it.
Yeah, it would be another level of difficulty to change it.
Well, if you create a religious site where you're working at, that should help, right?
I'm sure there's a multitudes of things that we could do to help. Yes, reforging it in a forge dedicated to your Allfather, I'm sure could help.
Possibly
whether or
having a
not-
high clergy there wouldn't be a bad thing either.
Again, it's not a question of whether or not it's conceivably possible. It's just whether or not we can hit that mark where it's enough.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess... the
And
third piece-
identifying that mark, too.
Well, and I guess also if the idea is that we're remaking this for this person, one being Jasper, two being this Delilah, to remake it in a form that is our choosing doesn't necessarily mean that we're doing right by anybody. But
Depends upon whether you want to meet the letter
Wielder
of
of-
whatever Jasper's agreement is, or the I think drawing a blank on the word here. the will, what they
The
meant
spirit
by
of
it.
it?
The spirit, yes, that's exactly the word I'm looking for.
So your faith is all about what, Fordrum?
The creation of art, creation of all kinds of things, armor, weaponry, art, goods, wares, preservance of art in humanity, that such. Craftsman.
While that is definitely different from what the sword's already about, the question is whether or not that changes enough.
Well, so
Which,
in my concept of it, it's what we're looking at is a hilt that apparently houses what once was. Safe to say, since there's no blade.
Yes.
more or less.
So, in the mending from hilt to blade, creating a neutral, a neutral place, so that neither is more positive than the other. You end up with potentially. I guess what I'm saying is, you'd have to clean and purify. Would I have to clean and purify the hilt to attach it to the blade? And when doing so, would that change its bent? So, if this blade apparently is powered by the souls that it inhabits, or that inhabit it, then are they all still in that hilt? Would what comes back have that same power? There's a lot of questions around it, and or whether or not, in order to make them weld, do we need to, because if you're welding two different types of metal, you have to clean both of them so that they can be as positive in their connection to each other as possible. So would the tainted hilt be able to connect to a blade piece that we may or may not be able to forge? Or do we need to clean it? And in that cleaning, is it done through faith, so that the faith maybe wipes away what taint there was? I think that all those answers are in this book that Sinclair has.
Yeah,
Because-
most of the putting it back together is in the book. My wondering is, because your faith is all about forging weapons and armors and things like that, do you think there might be some teachings or writings in your cathedral that might shed some light on possibly cleansing cursed blades?
Well, possibly. I mean, cursed items and cursed things are, a magical effect in some cases, or a belief system. So, there are spells that remove curses. I've had it done on me. But I don't know how this is defined. I don't know if what we're looking at is something that is cursed, or if it's something that is
Tainted, in a sense.
Well, it has a power and a path. I mean, I don't. Everything has its own ideology, so taint is sort of speculative. But if it has its power gained by a certain path that is, in the slaying of things, or the imbibing of souls, or something like that, that's a consideration that we would probably want to take up before we bring it back into the world.
Yeah, I don't know that I would necessarily consider it cursed. Cursed generally connotates that it has a negative effect on the wielder, which we
Right.
don't know if this does or not. That doesn't mean, other than we did see evidence of the one guy not wanting to give it up, but that could have just been pure power on his part,
I
not
wonder.
wanting to give it up. But I mean, it certainly got a darker twinge to it. There's no doubt about that.
I would just like to know what the ends are to justify these means. In other words, if it is for someone to rebirth a loved one, then I'm in. I'm all for it. But if it is for someone to rebirth a loved one who's planning on
Killing a bunch of people, probably
right,
don't.
setting back the time or deciding that it's time to, create the end of the world or some other crazy kind of
Don't really
thing.
need any of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to, and we definitely don't want to be. Well, we definitely don't want to be the ones who bring that about.
We've got enough shit on our names. We don't need...
That does definitely have the feeling of something we would do.
Bringing
So-
about the end of the world would definitely ruin my family's honor.
I feel I need to clarify. This feels like something we would accidentally do.
Right. Better put. Sure.
Unwittingly do.
Well,
that's-
we know
that's
the
even
sword
better.
You
is.
do have a history for this.
We
yeah.
We have the history for this. From day fucking one.
I wonder
So
if
I
there's
think-
a way for us to contact Delilah and.
But yeah, she's in
Or-
Jasper's head.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
I think it's worth a moment of contemplation on my side, Jasper's side, and anyone else who might want to reflect, to just sort of assess what the outcome of its existence in this time would potentially be. For instance, I may ask the king of what he believes an outcome of this existing again could be, as I'd like Jasper to ask the same of Delilah.
I think we should get some clarity on how is this going to bring back her loved one?
That's also not a bad question.
Like, we're all for helping her husband come back to life. I don't think anyone here is denying that.
No,
But if it
no.
means, us having to create a weapon that is going to be needed to use to slaughter hundreds, if not thousands or more innocent people, or even not innocent people, that kind of necromantic art is more so on like a demon's scale of evil versus a devil. At least the devil's going to be up front with you about how they're going to get you down, and demon type evil, yeah, not so much.
True.
So if we could get some clarity on that, that would be great.
Yeah, but are you even going to trust whatever comes out of Delilah's mouth?
And she got me out of hell, so
I mean,
she obviously has. I know nothing about her. I have no idea if she's good, bad, or
she very
indifferent.
clearly has the capacity for good, but isn't the intention.
She also has a very large horse in this race.
and she
We are
seems
talking
to
about
be
reviving her
tied
husband.
to the celestial plane. If her writing and this book is anything to do with it.
So, can I ask a little question about that? When you say tied to the celestial plane, what is the difference between that plane and another plane?
Okay, so like I'm kind of torn. Like I'm technically of 3 planes. I was originally born here in the material plane, the one we all currently reside on
Yep.
over in Marquis. When I died and fell into the river Styx, that river is, I believe, in between the astral, celestial, and infernal plane or Avernus planes.
It is between the abyss and hell.
Yeah, the abyss and hell. And when I fell into it, a bit of celestial came down and a bit of infernal came in. So I have a bit of both sides. Now, in Avernus is where the hells are. It's where people go and get tortured for all eternity. The abyss plane is where demons and worse things come from. And it's a lot more chaotic and evil than lawful evil. You know, at least in hell, when they make deals and pacts, they have to be upfront with you in regards to, hey, let's make a deal and I'll honor it based off of the terminology that we set forth in the agreement. And if you don't read the fine print, that's on you.
Yeah.
But the celestial plane is more, I would say, more in your line, Fordrum, in like where your god hails from.
Sin, I would like to ask you if you could roll a religion check to see what you, as a resident of hell, knows about the celestial realm. And if any of you are proficient in religion, you may roll as well.
You want me to have a headache today?
You're the one thinking about it. It's... Okay, you're lucky you don't think of anything. You don't know.
Yeah.
You're already a little tipsy.
Yeah. I've been drinking, so...
Is
Thank
anybody
God
else
for that.
proficient in religion?
I am not.
Nope.
Nope.
Alrighty then. Cool. Yeah. As
Friggin'
far as
waste of
anything
a
else?
cleric. Ah.
But that's about the gist of my understanding as far as celestial cubs. It's
Maybe.
where a lot of the gods might hail from. Now, some gods may be somewhere else. I don't know. But like celestial beings live up there.
So how do you know that she's tied to Celestial?
So this writing, and I pull out the contract that she and me signed, and the book are both in the celestial tongue. And after reading it for all this time and then realizing, wait, I don't need to use tongues to read it because I can already read it and understand it normally.
Well, but I can write a book in Draconic. That doesn't make me a dragon.
Exactly. So it did help in the sense that it gave me the dialect needed for getting every exact point out. But I'm somehow versed in the celestial tongue. I think it might have something to do about the fact that I've been altered by the river Styx. I don't know.
Jasper will chime in. She also gave me that ability to heal people. Isn't that typically like celestial?
I would guess.
Didn't she also give you an ability to stop someone's heart?
Yeah, that's typically.
Yeah. Well, he was a bad guy, right? Like.
Yeah, we're
No.
not arguing that.
He was.
It's just-
He was working enslaving. So I haven't felt that bad about it, but yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
saying you did wrong. We're just saying the way that it was allowed to happen is
Magic-
questionable.
Yeah, magic can take on all types of form. Like Argon was saying, just because a blade is made of magic doesn't make it good or evil. It's how you use it.
Right.
If we're going around taking this sword and slaughtering innocent people, yeah, that makes us evil because we're slaughtering innocent people. But if we're using it to like liberate slaves and things like that from their oppressors, then in turn, the blade and us would be considered good in the eyes of those who feel that that act is, of course, good.
Although those who don't feel that way would, of course, disagree.
Yes, they would think we're evil SOBs.
Because context changes the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It's all speculative based off of the perception of the individual perceiving.
But remember, the ends don't always justify the means either.
That is also
Just
basically
because
this whole thing is complicated as fuck.
Yeah. If you use that sword to liberate slaves by slaughtering an entire civilization that keeps slaves, I'm not necessarily sure you're on the right side of history there. Yeah.
That case is.
Obviously, that's an extreme case, but
Jasper just lowers his head. Where's a fucking philosopher when you need one?
No, we'll try to be one. Between the five of us.
there's nothing better than armchair philosophy.
Between the 5 brain cells we have collectively, yeah.
The problem that I have is that the philosophy of use doesn't matter. The theory is, what do we project that the person whom would wield it would use it for? Like, in other words, but just to assume that her path and her acts are like what others are going to do or her husband is going to do doesn't necessarily mean that it's a thing. Like, what I keep thinking is this. What if her husband was one of the crew members on that ship? And he was slain to empower the sword, and she wants to reforge the sword to pull his soul out and then throw it in the ocean or get rid of it or destroy it or something.
That is a best case scenario.
That is a best case scenario. And when
The
and
worst
one that
case scenario could be
Her husband was
might
the
have been
vampire.
Craven.
Yes, those other options are definitely problems.
With missing puzzle pieces, it's really hard to really say there's a clear-cut option here.
So I believe that it is worth the ask to her through Jasper to at least get lied to, or perhaps not.
All right. Well, how about Hey,
sleep on it.
are you there? Hello? Hi, yes, they would like to talk to you. They're wondering a lot about Craven Edge is its name. Can you just talk now? You're being
cast
cast
that on
that-
his head.
Well, you can cast that and it'll hit all of you in proximity.
It's fine.
All right, I need all of you to give me a wisdom save. Sorry, charisma save. Charisma saves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much better for this party. 4.
It's a good thing I don't plan on lying.
You're all right. You're all right. And let me roll Jasper. All right, guys, I'm gonna clock out here for a minute. I'll be. He just closes his eyes, and then they roll backwards into his head as a now much more feminine voice that my natural baritone cannot really achieve very well. Hello. All of you wish to speak to me directly?
That we kind of do. I brought them the book you requested me to bring.
Sinclair, thank you so much.
May I call you Delilah?
You may. You are the master forger who will be reshaping this blade for me.
Thank you. I hope to. And thank you for the information on how to. We just have a small question of your intent with it, because there's so much speculation of what it could have been done or used for. And we're afraid of what could happen if it is re-unleashed on the plane versus not, simply.
She looks around the room that all of you are sitting in right now, and she looks at your ritual, Argon. So you asked Fate for the information on this blade. Very good call.
We did.
And I assume you learned a great deal of its history from that.
We have.
Yeah, like the fact that it consumes the dead.
It consumes the power of individuals it slays.
That's, I guess, possibly better. Probably worse.
Does it do this by taking their souls?
We should let her answer before we keep questioning. Sorry,
Fordrum,
Delilah.
by the way, you're in your own sphere. You also have to give a charisma save.
Oh.
Yeah, it hits everybody in the sphere.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm not going to be dishonest. It doesn't matter.
Hey, I'm keeping track for me. So Argon, Fordrum, and Jasper can't lie right now.
Uh-huh.
Well, the blade is incredibly powerful. A relic from the past, of course. But it has a few other unique attributes about it. One of which is when an individual who wields Craven Edge very closely dies, their soul is imbued into it as a power. My husband wielded this blade and perished with him still holding it. In order to free him, the blade must be reforged fully, so that I may bring him back.
To wield it once again, or just to be your husband?
The thing I want most is to bring back the man I love more than anything in this universe. That is my deepest concern and goal.
So, when we were finding out more about this item, we came across a bit of information that I want to know. Was your husband the one responsible for killing his entire crew?
Killing his crew. I don't understand the statement.
When the blade was forged.
Oh, he was not the first wielder of this blade.
Okay.
Was he the last?
No,
Okay.
the last individual to wield this blade was a now perished member of Vox Machina. Argon 1000% knows who that is. Corvus history check, Fordrum history check. Sinclair, you weren't around. Sorry, buddy.
No worries.
All right. Corvus, Vox motherfucking Machina. The heroes of the realm, the ones who killed a demigod who was ascending to full godhood. The one that stopped and slayed the Chroma Conclave before it turned into a major disaster for the rest of the realm. Yeah, they're legends. They are the biggest legends of history.
Those guys. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Argan, were you ever a Vox Machina fan growing up?
It's
like asking if a kid was a big fan of firefighters, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I would have shown a passing interest in them as adventurers. I would have had interest in them, but they didn't really have a wizard.
Were you proficient in history?
I am proficient in history.
Please roll.
He got a 25. Oh, sorry, that was Corvus.
That was Corvus's.
Yeah.
Don't give people my rolls.
Yeah, I only got a 23. I'm not as good as Corvus.
So, Vox Machina, roughly about 110-ish years ago, was during that big event that, or events that I talked about. Few people know that they have history prior to that being good doers. Mostly people from Tal'Dorei recognize this as Whitestone is the home of one of the original founding members of Vox Machina, Percival Derolo. And the Derolo family and one of the Vox Machina members still houses dominion over Vox Machina, or over Whitestone as well. Piecing those two bits of information together...
Huh?
Yes, Sinclair.
Could I have the name of the man that I'm going to be putting my honor towards?
That's a fair ask.
You
You
mean
know
my
my wife's
husband?
name? Yes.
Yes, of course. His name is Silas.
Thank you for that.
Well, then unless we have any other objections, I think we have some studying to do before we work on forging this thing. Delilah, you should know it's going to take a bit of work. It's not as easy as a normal blade. You probably do.
I've been patient this long.
True. Thank you for that.
Has it been a long time?
Jasper's face softens. Yes. Very. Well, I suppose you may have your companion back. Please, fulfill my one wish, so that I may trust and aid you all in the future.
Understood.
Then the eyes go back to normal, and Jasper looks at you guys. All right, so what'd you guys talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we'll tell him about what she said.
Yeah.
I'm not sure any of the names or details mean anything more to Jasper than they would me.
Unfortunately, he's way less educated than you are.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm not sure how much that tells us, because we still don't know.
I feel like even with your magic in place, she was still being somewhat evasive.
Yep. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, she probably didn't outright lie, but she also didn't tell us.
She said she wanted the man she loved back, but maybe the man she loved was like a puppy-kicking bastard or something. I don't know.
Right.
Oh my god. I would never have an NPC like that. Not
Well,
that
the
evil.
nice thing is we have the name, and that's more than we had before.
I will attempt to ask the king in my head if he knows of this Silas who once wielded Craven's Edge, and if he could tell me anything about him.
Roll me a persuasion, Forger.
Big number. There we go.
Hey, that is good. You hear the voice of the king return to you once again. The name Silence means nothing to me. Craven's Edge is a worthy blade of any powerful combatant wishing to shape history. I know its forging very well. And she was withholding information from me.
Oh. I believe that.
Oh, so
I don't tell everyone that she was withholding information. I just tell everyone that he wasn't familiar with the name Silas and that that it is a worthy blade for anyone willing to shape history or make its mark in history.
See, I feel like there's nothing we didn't already know, but hearing it confirmed isn't exactly heartwarming.
This is true. But at least we know his name. We know that our fears are justified in that this blade could bring about virtue or disaster, depending on the wielder.
well, and her husband was at least powerful enough to have wielded this at some point, regardless of who he
Yeah.
was.
And a member of, what is it?
Vox Machina
Vox
wielded it as
Machina?
well. Yeah. But Vox Machina are some of the biggest heroes of, if not the biggest heroes of recent ages.
Oh, easily.
I've never heard of him.
You, my friend, must been living in a different plane.
No,
Like under a rock.
I lived off a small island nation off of the coast of Marquette.
Marquette. Sorry.
Marquette.
The regardless to say, they were very powerful and very well known adventurers, but we don't know. We know that they probably took the blade from someone, but we don't know that her husband was the wielder they took it from. He could have been 2-3 wielders back. We have no idea. But if he was powerful enough to wield this blade, from what the king told you, then he was a man powerful enough to make history.
Yeah, and if Vox Machina
Machina.
used it to bring about peace in their area, then there is a chance that this blade can be used for good.
It's not whether the blade can be used for good, it's whether it's going to be used for good.
Well, she just wants us to reforge it, which should revive her husband, or at least release his soul from it. Is what I was getting from
I
that
didn't
whole
get
ordeal.
that. I mean, I
I
got
think it's more as a piece of a larger equation to revive her husband.
She
Right.
said that if they
Reforging the sword
died-
itself won't do anything in that
She-
regard.
she said if he died wielding it, that it traps him, but there's nothing that suggests in anything that we've learned so far that by reforging it, it releases him. So
I think reforging is just a way to get
I think it's
where
part
his
of the
soul
process.
is. Yes.
I think it's like, because the blade is currently broken, the connection to where those souls are being held is
that
disconnected.
I can agree with.
That's possible.
And in order to tap into that reliquary of souls, you need the blade to be intact.
Fordrum.
Ideally.
Fordrum.
Mhm.
I would like you to give me an ability check. Utilizing
one?
your forge skill
Okay.
and intelligence.
Forge skill and intelligence. Wow.
Oh, no, that's the bad
Blacksmithing.
one.
You're smithing. You're smithing and intelligence.
Smithing and intelligence.
Yes.
Okay.
Jeez, you are on fire tonight. Wow.
Oh,
Whew. Other than your history check, but that's reasonable. That checks out, you know.
I don't do history. I grew up in a cave.
I mean, everyone sees the cave you grew up in, man. You can't act like you're some hillbilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, true, but I mean, my sense of history is just what my uncle told me. So, as much as it's not hillbilly and it's a nice cave, it's still, I didn't really leave town.
It's like throwing jade at like Alexandrite. It's just not going to stand out when the Alexandrite is so beautiful already. You're going to pay more attention to it and its culture than the small tidbit of jade that stumbles about.
Fair enough. So,
I
Ford.
thought Jade was the girl who worked in the inn.
Oh, jeez. I hate it.
History.
So, your Smith check.
Mm-hmm.
On a 24, which is pretty damn good for you.
Thanks. 27 would be the best I could do. So
Yeah. You know that there are fundamentals to smithing outside of here is hot meat, here is metal, here is imbuing it. There is a level of connection that individuals have with the ore, with the process, with the magic that is imbued into it. I mean, the difference between a blacksmith and a master blacksmith is literally how much they imbue into what they craft. That is mostly the difference, because anybody could systematically learn to be a blacksmith. It takes somebody talented and with intuition and insight to be a master of it.
And study and art and some prayer.
Yes.
I think.
However, you know that a blade can be more than a blade.
Sure.
It can be connections to other worlds, to other magic. You remember listening to your uncle on occasion when he just babbles drunkily about the history of smithing and the different practices that are involved with it, and how there's entire libraries dedicated to just knowing this information out there.
Yep.
So that is unfortunately everything I can tell you that you know for blacksmithing being more than just building a weapon.
Right. No, I understand all that. And for me, it's a religious endeavor, so it's always more than just the melting and pounding of metals together. Unless I'm making horseshoes, and I don't even think about it. But yeah, it's baffling because there's a whole bunch of thoughts and theories that I have in my mind about all of this, but I don't really know which way any of them will go until we start making it. So presuming the outcome is one thing. Assuming we finish the sword is another thing, which conversely, Sinclair, you need a sword of the same material, right?
What was that?
Don't you also have a sword that's broken that needs the same sort of a blade?
So my blade is
Bloodstone?
well, no, my current blade is that of hellish origins right now. I wouldn't mind getting a more pristine blade because this is more fiendish in nature.
Didn't you have a scabbard that had a hilt with no blade to a sword?
And I just flicked the hilt, and the blue blade that was attached is gone. Yes.
So
this hilt itself is what's left of my original blade.
Okay,
but because of the ability that I acquired from one of the archdevils in hell, unfortunately. I can manifest a temporary patch.
Yeah, but didn't you originally say, I would like to be also be able to fix this blade at one point when we first met?
Yeah, I would love to be able to have my blade.
So
repaired.
here's my pitch. I say we make one for Sinclair first, which gives me the moment to sort of educate myself on the stone, the connection, and from what you're explaining with the devils giving you the sword connection to make it the hellish green or blue thing that it just was, I think that it's a perfectly good test run. Does anyone else see it that way?
I mean, from the standpoint of you making sure you understand how to do the process, yes.
But does it make sense that Sinclair's blade also has a connection to somewhere else? Since he can just flick of his wrist and have a blade or not have a blade, and it's like a magic-y thing? Like, aren't we kind of making the same sort of thing, just one's been through cataclysmic creation back from an era of whenever, versus Sinclair's, which is sort of a
Patch job.
miniature version of this giant sword? So for me, I think we have an opportunity for an education in how this works by first forging something for Sinclair.
Yeah, I would just need to be able to remove the augment that's currently in it, but that's not an issue.
Yeah, I can pop that out right now. That's easy. Is it the augment that gives it the power to make the blade?
No.
Okay.
It's just because of the forge there in hell. They were able to imbue the temporary blade that comes out of the hilt to have 2 sockets.
Fine. Yeah, we can definitely take the sockets. Oh, wait, are the sockets in the blade itself, not in the hilt?
Jiro, I don't know. Is it in the hilt or is it in the blade?
It would be in the hilt.
Oh.
Yeah, so conceptually, I'm not going to mess with your hilt. We're
Yeah.
going to just connect a blade to the hilt. Make a fitting.
Yeah, I can easily pop off the guard and...
Well, don't take it apart now. We'll take it apart when we need to. We may not need to. I mean, once we get to the forge, I may need to rewrap it or something, but we'll disassemble the piece that the third piece to our equation is somehow I got to get an audience with some lava. But I like the idea of, if Sinclair, you would allow me to test run, well, A, finish this book, and then B, use your sword as a test run to see how this works.
I have enough faith in you as artisan. If she's willing to entrust you in the knowledge of that, and I point at the other hilt, I can trust you with mine.
Cool. Well, I'll make you this promise. It won't come out any worse than it is.
This is true.
So, yeah, this shouldn't be too difficult. Is there a pin through your hilt?
Yeah, so the pin actually holds the guard in the blade. So by popping it out, I can pop the guard up, and then the fragment of the blade that was originally in there falls out. But I can show you what the original blade looked like if you would like.
Well, hold on. There's a blade fragment in there already? Still? Like the actual tang that goes into the hilt?
Yeah, because the hell blade attaches to that tang.
Oh, geez. Well, this is easier than I thought. Yeah, we'll just pop that out, and now we know exactly what the hilt is supposed to look like. And then
I can show you what the blade originally looked like.
I think
I
you
believe-
already have. Wasn't it a straight sort of a curve?
Yeah, I do.
Kinda
I believe prestidigitation allows me to do that, Jero.
You would need
Make
minor
a-
illusion.
Minor
Oh,
illusion.
minor illusion.
I think you drew a picture or something earlier. You know, the problem with that shape blade is normally when you quench it, that's when the bend comes.
Mm.
So this stone, I don't think bends.
Well, I could show you this way. And I put my hilt to the side. And I'm going to use my last spell for the day. I call forth the Shadow Blade. And it looks exactly like my original katana,
Mhm.
just smaller. So this is a little bit smaller than what it used to be. This is what is called a wakizashi.
Oh, can you set it on the table? We'll just draw it out.
Yeah, I can place it on the table. I just can't let go for too long.
Fine. You don't have to let go at all.
Okay.
Keep your hand on it, hold it still. I'll take a pencil and just trace around it. Once I get the trace around it, I'll be like, done. And then you can turn it off and he'll draw in the rest of it. And that'll just take a few seconds.
Yeah, and I know our artisans had found a way to temper the blade in a sense that they use a fold method, and depending on where you put the actual edge of the blade, it alters how the blade is used. So, like, if you were going to war, you would want the blade on the normal front side of the blade. But during peacetime, you would want a blade that is on the inside, kind of reverse style. If you understand what I mean.
Sure, we can sharpen any side of it that you want.
So, I mean, obviously, you practicing and researching how to do the forging is a large part of this.
Yeah.
But do we need to do more digging into the history of the blade itself, and more specifically, what if we could find anything out about Delilah and Silas?
Well, you could probably research Silas using Delilah as the tag for that, and former wielder of Craven's Edge, who died while wielding it. And then you can also look into how Vox Machina used it to solve their problem.
How good's the library here in Uthodurn? Especially relating to Tal'Dorei and history.
And
There is a library here, Forge-room, but a lot of the information inside of it is kind of, though it is
Construction-based.
open to the public, the archives of it, it's still, you need to be invited or ask for special permission to get into it.
Which
You
doesn't surprise me.
You think they call it a cobalt soul or some shit like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We've been to the library. My uncle's contributed to it before, so we can try. It's worth asking.
I mean, the only other option I can think of, well, I can think of two other options for where we can learn about it. One of them I'd rather not do. The other one, I'm more concerned about the return. So I imagine there is quite a library in Rexentrum, but that's got a whole lot of problems.
You know what I thought of? Remember that guy who spoke with the dead person? He could speak to a soul, right? Corvus, do you remember in your town after the show?
Hello, everybody. That guy?
Yeah.
So he could probably speak to his soul, and if we've got a hilt with some souls in it, all we got to do is find him and see if he could speak to Silas.
Can't you speak to souls, Sinclair? You've mentioned that a few times.
Yeah, I can. The problem becomes if there's a disconnect. Like, if this is what I need to make an intelligence check for this. Religion, Jiro, for reliquaries of souls?
Arcana.
Arcana. Oh god, this is gonna suck worse.
Yeah.
Boom. That doesn't suck.
All right, what was your question?
Okay, so reliquaries of souls.
Yeah.
My understanding is they're used primarily by liches, but they can also be used by agents of the hells, which is where I was pulling the religion side from, because they do trade in souls, and the only
Soul
way to trade in
coins.
souls is with the soul coins, which is a form of
A reliquary.
reliquary.
Correct.
But this might be a bigger reliquary than a soul coin would be. So my questioning is
how would the two correlate?
how, if there's a break on the reliquary, would that disconnect the connection to the souls trapped inside?
Oh. Okay, give me a second. I have to think of this one. Because we
Yeah,
just
'cause
got
I ha-
into a
I ha-
whole
I-
different level of thinking.
Yeah, and this is why I'm going to be completely almost useless tomorrow, because I'm going to be drunk off
Yeah.
my ass tonight.
Yeah, at this point, your nose is bleeding.
Yeah. It's painful recalling the soul coin that I had found, and
So,
the fact that they trade these things regularly.
this is what you would know. If this hilt houses all of the souls of the individuals who died while wielding it inside of it, the blade would be the conduit or extension into that. If the hilt were to be destroyed, much the same way as any magical item, the magic imbued inside of it would also be destroyed. Though, considering this is something incredibly powerfully constructed, I will let you know that it would take one of the endless pools of fire in hell type of power to
So
destroy
chucking it in a volcano wouldn't break it.
a
But
simple volcano, never.
Yeah, chucking it into the fire Stygia
Yeah, that may
would.
possibly,
Possibly.
yeah. If it could
And we
be
don't know how
destroyed,
it
would
broke in the first place,
correct.
which might be something we could research later.
Well, but I
Yeah.
don't see what that has to do with your question about.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
assuming your question
does
was,
bring
can
up-
you contact him? Was that what your question was?
Yeah, so if the souls
that's
are
easy.
part of the
If-
hill,
If this is something that houses the souls inside of it, technically speaking, if somebody could contact dead and they had access to the hilt, they should be able to contact the dead.
okay, I'm
through the
gonna try.
Well, before
If
you
you-
do that, is there even a game to that? Are we going to learn anything more from him than we already learned from Delilah? What are the odds that he's going to tell us anything truthful, or that he's going to tell us anything useful? I mean, he's no more bound to tell the truth and the
technically,
complete story than she was.
With the ability that I would be using, they have to speak honestly.
Well, but that doesn't mean they need to speak completely, though, either.
Let me just double check.
I mean, I knew some people that could twist a lot of words pretty well in the college. I knew plenty of professors that could lie without lying, basically. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just
so
I'm just not sure what we're really
anything
going to
we
gain
would
out of it.
ask of the souls, we would get a brief answer. And if the soul is being cryptic in that response, we would know it's being crypted, but we'd have to figure out how to decrypt it.
So before you do it,
but
we would
if
make
you,
sure.
Fordrum, put up the zone again that didn't affect me initially, if you put that up again, then it would be required to speak truthfully, because that would be the compulsion in it.
What were you trying to say, Arkin?
So much blood.
I was going to say that. So if that's the path we want to take, we need to make sure that we prepare the questions ahead of time.
Yes.
Not just willy-nilly just do it while we're sitting here and you're half drunk.
Right.
The
So we've got time to think of this through.
Yes.
It doesn't have to happen now.
I think we'd be better off getting information from, to some extent, a neutral third party. I don't personally think he's going to tell us anything much more useful than Delilah did.
No, but if the questions aren't necessarily to ask him, one of the things that I think is true of people who would maybe wield a sword like this is to ask them to talk of their deeds. So we would get an idea of the person he was.
Caliber.
No, person he was at the time of wielding such a blade. So in other words, if he was like, I was the slayer of man and I laid waste to the denizens of hell upon upon Wildemount before to end the age of Arcanum or to end the calamity and whatever, you know what I mean? Like if he's speaking as sort of the, for instance, when you talk about, you tell a paladin to explain what he's done, he waxes poetically about his slaying of evil doers wherever he came across. I think that hearing this person's tale would potentially grant us some idea of the person he may have been and might subsequently be.
But didn't you say, Sinclair, that the answers were brief?
It's usually brief.
So you're probably not going to get much of the guy's life story, but I mean, you could still get something out of it.
Yeah.
So
Sinclair, the spell lasts a total of 10 minutes, which means everything he says and everything you ask has to happen within that 10-minute frame.
Yeah, so it would only be capable of 10 minutes, and we'd only get so many questions. We get 5 from him. So whatever we ask him, we only have 5 things we could ask him. And how detailed or how elaborate he wishes to be is entirely up to him. But if he's under the zone of truth, he does have to answer truthfully and without deception, which is what I was getting at before in the whole, he can't mislead us if we have that up.
he does have to answer?
Yes, he has to answer. He is compelled to answer the questions that are asked. But he is not under any compulsion to be truthful unless there is another force causing the truth. I.e., what Fordrum did to Delilah.
Or tried to.
So just do that again.
Yep.
Is the idea that?
Yeah, the idea is to have him do that before I go into this dialogue with him. And let me just double check something.
Well, we have a lot to think about. In the short term, I have to, gain permission to using the forge with the lava.
And the library for Argon.
And we also should go, right now, we should go over to the library and see if we can get Argon some access to read about or look up someone.
Very well. Do you guys want to walk out and head over there?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
I'm
Jasper
just gonna need some
will-
help getting there because I can't see straight.
That's fair. Jasper will excuse himself to go lie down at Forge's house. He's channeling Delilah is tiresome.
Say goodbye to Marquis on the walk out.
Marquis. Oh, yeah. See ya, Marquis. All right. I'll see you guys. Take care. Enjoy yourselves. Hey, next time you put on a light show, invite me, please.
Deal. I promise I will.
Anyways, you all walk out of here. I forgot that you guys were in here still.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's what we
yeah,
can-
we were. Yeah.
That's
You
why
haven't
we
even
can-
left this place. I've been day drinking all day. I need another
Yeah.
beer.
Welcome
Like,
That's everybody in this town.
No,
to
no, 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 no.
Uthadern.
Right.
I'm bleeding out my nose pretty badly because my brain is literally on fire right now. I need more alcohol.
Oh,
Alrighty.
do you say that out loud?
Yes, I need more alcohol, and the stronger the better.
Fordham whips around a thing of what he goes, whiskey? Here you go.
Thank you.
Yep. Drink up. And he'll just fill a cup for you and hand it to you. Just bring it with us. We'll return
Woo.
it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's some sharp whiskey. Yep, that's not bad.
It'll take off paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might go blind, but that's okay.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Anyways,
Haven't done that yet.
you all walk through Uthadern, heading over back towards the inner layer, one floor lower than where you currently are. As you enter down inside of that region, you are now near all of the government and municipal buildings over in that style of district. You see the houses are like fortresses with small front yards, small backyards, but larger buildings as a whole. And many of them have a handful of servants and individuals tending to them as you are walking through. You see this one large building that is shaped like a massive U down here as you're all walking past, and there's an individual walking out surrounded by 5 of the local guards, all of which look veteran in nature. Fordrum, you recognize who previously was Major Bronze, now Arbiter Bronze, walking through the area.
I step to the side and I put my arm out, making sure that all of us step to the side, so that he can walk past us, basically. And I will raise a hand and wave at him and just say, "Congratulations, Arbiter Braun."
He'll look over at you. Hey, thanks, Fordrum.
You earned it, good sir.
Gives you a very wide smile, and you all see his presumably daughter running up and leaping to hug him coming home from school at this hour. Half-elf girl. Half-dwarf, half-elf. But yeah, they just pass by.
What does
Yeah.
a half dwarf, half elf look like?
Google it. Just don't add any other subtext or else you will regret it. Fan art is a dangerous thing, everybody. Very
Yep.
dangerous thing.
And then we'll make our way to the library.
Alrighty. Yeah. You walk around the corner from where the giant U-shaped building is, which you know is the primary government building that the Arbiter and other large government officials work out of.
Right.
It's a public service building, just to make sure you're
Mhm.
aware. It is there for, hey, you have any issue, you step in, and we will get you to see somebody if someone is available immediately to help out.
Right.
You know, efficient government buildings, like only a dwarf could create.
Yep.
But around the corner from that, you all see that there is a spire-like building that has a couple of individuals in these long blue robes out front of it, sitting down and reading books, and you see that there is a set of double doors that are currently closed. As you see a sign that says Uthadern Branch of the Cobalt Soul. Argon, there's a Cobalt Soul in Rexingtrum that you obviously would have happened to come across. And there is a Cobalt Soul in Westrun and Tal'Dorei. These are massive areas that keep a lot of information, though it's usually for private people to find, though the public has quote-unquote access to it as well. But yeah, apparently there's Cobalt Souls all over this fucking world.
I don't happen to have a library card, do I?
No, you're not a full graduate. You don't get that. However, you are a Lyceum student. That does come with some perks. As you're all walking up the stairs, you see the two in the robes close their books and stand up straight. Is anybody in this party terribly perceptive? Sinclair? Fordrum?
Kind of.
16.
Not terribly.
No.
I would say 16 is perceptive enough. Though they're wearing long blue, cobalt blue colored robes, they're really fit underneath those robes. These aren't typical scholars. They work out. At minimum, they work out. And as you all walk up, one of them looks over at you all, a tabaxi man who's white furred with little tiny black spots across his face.
Hello, can I help you all with something?
We would like to know if our wizard here could have some access to the library to look up some information based on the past, long ago past.
Argon, he has an Iman accent. You pick up immediately.
The
Tabaxi.
The Tabaxi does.
Yes.
I'll be hello, I am traveling student from the Lyceum. I'm researching different portions of Tal'Dorian history and how far they have spread to further portions of the continents, and I'd like to do some research here.
And you said you are a Lyceum student?
Yes, I am.
Do you have any identification?
Do I have any identification?
Yeah, you have a student pass.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the robes that are built for you that allows you to teleport in and not immediately get struck by magical arcane fields of lightning.
Those are handy.
Yeah. Student pass.
Yeah. I'm assuming so is my student ID going to have my name on it?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Well, nothing to do but use it.
All right. So you flick out your student ID, and he takes it, shows it to the other guy, who kind of smiles and looks over at you.
Well, it is not every day that we get such a highly esteemed scholar in our midst. Please, Mr. Lyceum, come on in.
They open up the doors and allow you all in. Corvus Fordrum, did you know that was his last name?
What did they call him?
Mr. Lyceum.
That's his last name?
I didn't even pick that up.
I'm too drunk to care.
I thought they just called him Mr. Lyceum, being kind of cocky, like that's where he's from.
You know, you can interpret it like that. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't think Fordrum would at all.
Likewise.
That might have been.
That wouldn't even connect.
Don't worry, Argon, you're not outed. You're good. The doors open wide, and you're all escorted inside with these two Cobalt Soul members. As you're all walking in, you see that the temperature in here is a little warmer, but much more dry than it was outside. Because outside it's like chilly, frigid. Inside it's little cold, library cold. And you see that there are about 6 bookshelves in front of you that all lead into a centralized area that has about 5 different tables, all of which are beautifully constructed. Forgem, you immediately recognize the make from other very famous Uthodurnians who probably made that for them.
Yep.
And then there is a
go over and
spiral
underneath.
staircase.
Yeah.
Oh, you're stopped before you go over there.
Sorry.
But there is a spiral staircase made out of a single trunk of wood heading all the way up as well. It seems to be a continual piece to the next floor and level, and as you all walk in, you see that there is a librarian who smiles at you all.
Hello, gentlemen. I suppose all of you will be studying here today? That is correct. We can go ahead and I'll follow along to make sure they get whatever accommodations they need, eh?
That sounds wonderful. However, be warned that there is no spellcasting while inside of the library of any sort or variety. There's no theft from the library. You may read whatever you would like as long as you would like, though you may not take any pieces with you. They all belong to our collection here. In addition to all of that, if any of you would like to make a donation for the operations that we have here in the library, it would be most appreciated.
No translation spells, right?
No spellcasting of any variety while in here. Only
Yeah,
our Cobalt Soul members may do that.
Understood.
Yeah, I can read anything that's in here, more or less.
Well, unfortunately, Sinclair, I'm going to need you to keep translating this other book. I guess we could do that here if you want to work on 2 things at once.
Is that a tome? Would you like to donate that? She
when
looks
we're
like
done
trying to
using
look
it,
at it.
I will donate it to you, but until we're done using it, which may take us a few weeks, we're going to need to keep it.
That is an 800-year-old piece made out of the spine of a diva, written in the words of a celestial. That is incredible.
I dropped 10 gold in their offering plate.
Yep.
For boss.
Thanks. I was going to drop them, but I'm down to silver.
I know. That's why I did it.
And that would have looked really weird if I dropped silver in the plate.
I don't mind giving you this book when we're done using it, but we are going to need access to some information that is pertinent regarding something inside of this book.
Well, do
kind
not
of why
worry.
we're researching more.
That is why I'm here, and I will be assisting you all.
Well, you're going to be assisting him, and I point up at Argon. Because this book we are studying, he is looking for other parts. And Corvus there?
I'm here.
He looks you up and down, Corvus.
Would you be interested in any recreational reading?
I suppose I could be.
He likes books on whistling.
That's true.
Really?
Actually, genuinely, yes.
I'm going to try to remember a book that I read when I was like 8 or 9.
In fact, I bring out like 8 books on whistling, and just like, yeah.
Go ahead,
done with
Argon.
these.
I'm going to try and remember like a fictional book that I would have read at like 8 or 9, which Argon assumes to be about Corvus's reading level.
Oh,
and suggest it, see if they have that for him to read. Something where he's not going to realize that.
We do, in fact, have the 9 of Tales of the 2 Kittens at our disposal. We can get it for you.
I assumed I had a somewhat advanced reading level for my age, so.
It's actually a theory based off of. It is a theoretical book around the study of luck and the possibility of it actually existing, and the mathematical proving that it does exist based off of the habits of different catfolk like tabaxis or cats themselves, and the theory behind the 9 lives. That is what the book is actually about, though it has a silly name.
I'm actually willing to read
I thought
that.
I had a headache.
Oh, don't test me with my random fantasy books, man. I got this.
That's impressive.
So that's a no on the whistling books. I'll take it, but I'm just saying.
I mean, unless you would like to hear from some more famous bards that have made whistling their career.
That does sound like fun.
Well then, we'll save the tale of two kitties for another day.
Well, I mean, I could do. I mean, yeah, sure, yeah, sure.
Very well, let us get both. And he walks past the first row of books, and you watch as he kind of like sticks his hand over to a different shelf, and he pulls out a book that looks to be about 900 pages and hands that to you, Corbus. Yeah, that's that book about two kitties.
Oh, hefty.
Just some light reading. I didn't want you to, we're here for entertainment.
Oh, yeah, of course. Don't want me to get bored before lunch.
So I mean, I remember spending a very fond afternoon reading that in the gardens of the Lyceum.
Argan, are you going to spoil it for him?
No, I would never spoil it. It ruins the surprise.
Okay.
I do so appreciate that.
At that point, Fordrum sits down, pulling Sinclair towards a chair, also that looks really comfortable because he knows who built it, and that these are going to be a good place to sit and read.
Oh yeah, perfectly
And then if they keep
upholstered.
talking-
They're cushiony.
Yeah, so they keep talking. He'll even go, shh.
Oh, this is always a good time. So the two of you can stay down here at the lower level if you are comfortable. Three of you. If you are going to the more restricted homes, you will be walking with me to the upper levels. Fair enough, Mr. Lyceum?
Yes. Thank you.
Of course.
And you see, like, the tip of his tail is just, like, flicking, like, ever so happy right now as he gestures up the staircase and you walk first.
As they start walking away, I'm going to just turn to Sinclair and be like, it's kind of rude that he keeps calling him Mr. Lyceum like that. Like, just because that school he went to seems sort of fucked up.
Maybe there's a school rivalry or something.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
it's like the Tigers versus the Cougars or something. I don't know. Team mascots and all that.
Team mascots.
It's a good point. What's a Lyceum then? Is that a creature? Is that a cat from somewhere?
Maybe it's a comfy chair because that's all I see him in.
Good point.
Oh, Argan,
That's-
you have to walk up these stairs.
Can I park this here?
I
Yeah.
thought the chair did stairs.
Yeah, actually, I thought it did stairs too.
I think
it's a spiral staircase.
Okay, that's fine. It is a bigger chair since it has
You know
to
what?
fit
Fuck
me.
it. We'll make it do the elevator chair thing where it like goes back to the side and then wraps around and slowly as the tabaxi's just walking behind you and you're going up like
Put your back in the center so you get a better view.
That is quite an amazing piece you have there. I assume you crafted that yourself?
No. We actually found this in a different college we had visited. One we had investigated some ruins of a fallen college from another time, and I managed to find it there. It was quite
May
an interesting
I
trip.
pick your brain about this college? Just to add to our archives.
Oh boy.
Fun phrase there.
Oh yeah, well, just a second, because I'm not really the type to understand what is and isn't safe to say. So
yeah, you guys are downstairs.
yeah, there's no one to protect me from my love to
No.
explain all the things that I know.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's pure
We're
pressure.
No,
never
I'll
gonna
tell
get
him
to
that we
the
went-
name.
That we found this at the Restus Institute of Magecraft and Tomology.
The Redis Institute of Magecraft and Tomology?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I have written down.
Yeah. You're right. Let me roll. See, holy fuck, you rolled high. All right, what's this intelligence?
It's gotta
That
be
is
15 or better.
quite a discovery.
And he'll just keep inquiring about things while the two of you are multitasking and looking for the books that you are specifically looking for as well. So, like, he's able to hold a pen with his tail, keep one hand with a book, and write with it as he's helping you grab other books with his left hand.
Well,
He's a
that's
professional librarian. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. He can do this. And you are you. You're fine. You're a ranger in their favorite terrain right now. Like, it is. So, Argan, ask me what bit of information you are looking for. You are spending the day researching, and you are going to have advantage on your intelligence check. But I need to know the DC based off of what you are looking for.
So I'm going to start my search with things related to anything related to Vox Machina and Craven's Edge, and probably, if I need to dive down to it further, Whitestone. Or their acquisition of such weapon.
Very well. You bring up these three topics and he goes, I myself am quite a big fan of Vox Machina. And I passed through Whitestone once. My sister is actually a Tal'Dorian general position there right now. Lovely lady.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
It's always good for one to succeed in their chosen field.
That is correct. I mean, she's almost my equal. Anyways.
But can anyone truly equal a librarian? I mean, come on.
That's why I said almost. Go ahead and roll me your intelligence check. You have advantage.
Just straight intelligence?
Straight intelligence.
Okay.
This is research, not investigation. Whew, okay. That will yield... This, in 1 day of study, will yield you 3 bits of lore. Okay. About the 3 things that you are researching. Number 1. Vox Machina had 2 party members capable of wielding Craven's Edge. As, from what you've seen, the blade could have been a great sword. Nothing smaller, nothing shorter than that. Pike Trickfoot, who you knew a lot about, as she was one of the longest lasting members of Vox Machina, though she passed away roughly about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. She would not have matched that aesthetic. And then you remember Grog and all the stories you heard about him. So he was more than likely going to be the wielder of Craven's Edge, though in any depictions of them in glorious battle, in different phases of what they are trying to aspire towards, he never was drawn carrying that weapon. Which means he didn't have it for very long if he did have it.
Okay.
Next, while researching Craven Edge in particular, it turns out that the hilt of the blade was originally forged right here in the Graying Wildlands, in a location called the Cinderess Sanctum. It is hidden location that isn't even written down inside of this book that you are reading. Controlled by a family of dwarves that have lived up there in the mountains for generations, all of which are devoted, introspected followers of the Wild Mother and the Allhammer.
Okay.
But that was where the hilt was originally forged.
That was where the hilt was forged.
Not the blade itself, just the hilt.
Okay. Because I wrote that down wrong.
Okay. Lastly, Whitestone. Whitestone has vast history inside of it. It was originally discovered by the Derolo family roughly about 200 years ago. And for roughly 100 years, it was controlled by them before all of them were wiped out of existence from a group of terrorizing vampires and other individuals who later became known as worshippers of Vecna. Now, after that, Percival, the last namesake who was in charge of it, brought Vox Machina up there and eradicated them, killed them all, chased them away, and freed Whitestone. And then took it back over as its primary power, giving the bulk of the responsibilities to his younger sister. Yes. Let me get her name for you.
Delilah.
Nope.
Just kidding.
No, it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
She used to go by Deborah back then.
Cassandra, the youngest, and the only other surviving member of the DeRollo family. Percival and Cassandra. She was the one who took over for him while he continued to go out with Vox Machina.
Okay.
And did I say you get 3 bits of lore or 4?
You said 3.
Okay, that's it.
I mean, I'll take 4, but you said 3.
Sorry, you were 1 shy of hitting 5. 4. But yeah, that's everything you research across the entirety of today. Downstairs, Corvus, I need you to give me an intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
Love that it's a saving throw.
Okay. All right.
Not
17.
bad. So, you know what? There is a firm theory here, and luck may actually be an attribute that individuals can count upon when making their decisions. You never would have guessed it. It turns out halflings actively wield this. And now that you think of it, you've never met an unlucky halfling before.
Well, unless you're trying to be tall.
True. But yeah, apparently luck is a noteworthy resource for individuals to attempt to wield.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sinclair and Fordrum, the two of you were researching the book again?
Yeah, it's translating, and Fordrum is just taking notes and basically listening to the instructions. I feel like it's predominantly like whatever it is instructional. So
okay. I would like both of you to roll me wisdom checks.
Wisdom check, not safe.
Yep, check. This is to see how well you both process the information. Fordrum, when you are actively doing this for the first time, you're more of a hands-on guy.
Yep.
You're going to need to re-look at the book and re-study. It's going to take you a lot longer. Sinclair, surprisingly, you think you kind of understand what needs to happen through all of the processes. Like, you're starting to comprehend the situation of forging this blade. Though you don't forge yourself, you comprehend the situation behind it.
I've seen our forge masters back at home build the Imperial blade, so I get the gist of it for the most part, and the intricacies that go into it.
So, late into the evening, Argan and the Tabaxi individual walk downstairs. All right, everybody, it is nighttime, so we have to close up the library. Come on.
Okay, can I ask you a quick question, sir?
Sure can.
Because I have a feeling we're going to be coming back tomorrow. Is it possible for you to check in the morning for a book of wielders of a blade for me? The blade is called Craven's Edge.
Oh, we were researching that upstairs.
Yeah, I would just like to know the names of any known wielders of it,
Ah,
He scratches
so that
the
we
back
could
of his
research
head.
more.
I would have to pay one of the librarians here to do that. If you would like to commission that, I can have them assist you.
Okay.
What's it cost?
Depends on how much you want to pay. If you give them
Well-
10 gold, they'll look for 20 minutes and then walk away. If you pay them 100 gold, they'll look for a few hours.
Research is
Well, she
expensive.
did say
It's very high skill to keep.
She
And
did
you have
say
to
this book
remember
was
this-
worth 800. So when we're done using it,
who
we
said
could use it as. The lady said it was worth over.
Oh, no,
800.
she said it was
800 years
800
old.
Yeah, she said it was 800 years old.
Right.
Its price
Oh.
is priceless, which translates to it has a price, but it's really high because we value this information so much.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
And
I'm
you'll
willing
have to remember the librarians,
Yeah.
they work for a living. They do not belong to the Kobold store like I do.
Okay.
We'll come back on our own time.
That is
Okay.
fair. I'm sorry
Sure.
if that isn't not good enough for all of you. I
No,
apologize.
it's perfectly
No, if
reasonable
need
request.
be, we can make a deal with, I guess, Kobold Soul individual who runs this.
No, we don't need to make any deals. We can just research it ourselves.
Oh, can we?
Yeah, some of the,
I enjoy doing this
I'm
part.
so smashed at this point that I don't even know which one of you I'm looking at when I'm talking.
It's one of the 9. But anyways, he'll look over at you now, Corvus,
So, how did you enjoy the book?
and he gives you a smirk.
Actually, it's very entertaining. It's a very thoroughly researched thesis that I did not expect.
Huh.
See, I told you. It was great on my summer reading list by 3rd grade year.
Yeah, wait, 3rd grade.
Corvus, this was your maximum intellect. Like,
That's
Corvus
like
is a
asking
dumb
someone to discuss string theory and they use cats to
Yeah, you're talking-
describe string
you're
theory.
talking to Sheldon Cooper, buddy. I'm sorry. Like, it's.
Well, that is wonderful. What do you expect from a Mr. Lyceum himself, eh? Alrighty, let's go outside.
And he escorts you all out of the library, where you're allowed to leave your books where you left them.
If you all come by first thing in the morning, we will keep them all on a rack right next to your tables and reserve them for you as well.
I
Oh, that's
appreciate
lovely.
it. Thank you very much for your time and your help.
It is
Pack
not a
our book
problem
up.
at all. It's always a pleasure helping out the Lyceum.
Yeah, I'd make sure I get his name somewhere during our conversations, and
His name
you don't have to
is.
give it to me now, but
Oh no, I have his name.
Oh, okay.
Shengato.
Shengato. I am expositor, Shengato.
do I know that that's a rank?
It is a rank, correct?
And I just point at Corvus and I go, "Thank you for taking care of our magic friend,
okay, here we go.
Mr.
Doors. I'll get the door.
Yep.
And
You
I
all
start
go
helping
out.
out of the library.
I
As
think
soon
we
as
need to
all
get
of
more
you-
food in his stomach.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
as you are all outside, he closes the door, waves you all goodbye, and goes through a process of locking up for the night. You all wander through the city once more, and you notice something outside of the municipal building. There is a very angry dwarf with 3 other individuals holding up signs chanting about an unfair election. Fortune, you would recognize one of them as the previous arbiter, Batchwell.
Yeah,
Is he
So it's-
calling for recounts?
it's Batchwell and 3 others.
And 3 others. Well, total of 3. Sorry, 2 others.
Got it. So I just look over and I'm like, Get some self-respect. Go home.
Have a
How
drink.
dare you talk about me that way? He looks over at you screaming, and you see he has stubbly beard on his high cheek that dwarves don't usually have stubbly beard. He was always a well-groomed dwarf. He's just not taking care of himself, and he clearly looks shit-faced.
Right.
I helped this city to thrive for years. 12 years.
And now you can just continue to drink yourself into that kind of a stupor, apparently. Go home.
Not fair. Recount. And he just keeps chanting it in front of the building. And you see there's a couple of guards who look over at you, Fordrum, and they both just shrug. Yeah.
I know, and I just look at him and I'm like, okay.
But yeah, you all walk past this situation.
I walk up to the drunkard.
No.
Drunk myself.
No. Sinclair gets 3 steps towards him and a hand grabs him and it goes, no. This isn't the kind of...
need to count.
Shh, we're just
what
going...
calculators are for.
We're just going to bed.
Abacuses are for.
Sinclair, you're being pulled away by your tail. Just...
Fordrum, didn't you tell us that elections here were a matter of public record?
Yep.
Wouldn't people have noticed if their vote was cast wrong?
No, it's fair. He's just drunk and complaining that he's no longer in power.
Oh, so he's a baby. Okay.
I'm not a baby.
You sure act like one.
Remember,
go to bed and drink your milk.
Is that a toupee?
I think your mother's calling you. You might want to return home before she gets mad.
Sinclair, I spin you around and I look in your face and I go, listen, you're not from here. You're treading very close to offending my city. He did a lot to make this city our city. Let's go home. Okay?
Where's home?
Come on. And I put an arm around you and walk you towards my house.
So, you all show up at Fordrum's house roughly about 15 minutes later, and as soon as you open up the door, you all are smacked in the face with the smell of hearty, strong ale and wonderful food that is being cooked and the rowdy sound of your family. And as you all hear the excitement increasing, you walk over to the dining room where you see your mom is currently cleaning up dinner, but there is still 4 or 3 open spots for you. She looks over. Oh, did you adopt another one?
Yep.
Well, come on in, fill your bellies, sit on down. We got plenty of leftovers.
Oh, you're a treasure, Mama Brightblade.
You are very welcome. And she scratches the top of your shoulder because she can't reach your head. All of you sit down and she looks at you, Sinclair. No masks at my table. Hats off, people. Sinclair?
It's kind of... I grab onto the mask and you can just hear the flesh being tugged.
Oh, stop. Okay, stop it. Hey, she slaps you across the chin. Stop it. Now you're a big boy, right?
And I look at her and I'm like, he's very drunk.
I know how to handle drunks, Fordrum, trust me.
I know.
She looks you in the eyes. You're
I'm
a big
not
boy,
drunk,
right?
Argan. I'm not drunk.
You're a big boy. Hey, look at me. You're a big boy, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna eat your food.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna take off your boots. You're gonna lay down and go to sleep. And when you wake up, you're gonna drink a lot of water.
Y'all have water here?
We have lots of water. So eat up here. And she moves a large cup over to you. This is... She moves it away and brings a different cup. Water.
I'll take the cup that she mistakenly put in front of him.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Can
why?
you brew water?
Carefully.
It's been so long since I've had water.
Drink it. It'll make you feel better. Eat up.
I shoot a look at Argon and Corvus like, how the fuck did we find this guy?
He found us.
I know.
Isn't that how it?
As soon
That
as
is
he
how it
said,
usually
it's been
works."
so long since I had water, I just turn and look at the two of them like, what?
I mean, that's
How does
literally
this
how
keep happening to us?
that's literally how this group works. We don't
Holy-
choose to find people.
I mean, I don't think it was any different when I found you guys the first time. You guys were running away from like a underground lizard or something, weren't
Yeah. And I met these two in person.
you?
Deception check. Disadvantage because mama.
Oh, I get disadvantage.
Dude, your mom is right there. She gives you that
I
eye.
know. Persuasion?
Deception.
Deception.
I don't even do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Please, baby Jesus.
As you're trying to get the words out, she mouths prison, and you instinctually go, person, and you give her the, oh no, I'm fucked eyes.
Uh-huh.
And she just calmly sits down at the table across from you.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
good water and food.
Yes, please keep eating. Bordrum.
I've crossed my legs and they're practically turned sideways, yet I'm keeping my beard in front of me, so potentially she can't actually kick me.
Bordrum.
Yes, Mom?
Did you just say prison?
All right. I did nothing. The ship that I was on sailed into a port, and everybody who was on board the ship was put in prison because they didn't know what had just caused a big problem the day before we arrived. That's it. Then
I can actually vouch for that.
Oh, so you met my son in prison, Where you happen to be as well?
Funny story there. We were actually, what's the word I'm looking for?
on
Right.
a different.
You were
See,
what?
The mayor of the town was actually replaced by an assassin who was sent to kill. I honestly forget at this point. There were so many assassins. But
Mav. Wasn't it the guy Mav?
yes,
Yeah.
it was Mav.
I don't know. That's who he attacked when he revealed himself, and we ended up subduing him and then turning him in and clearing our name.
With
and I
the
just smile
actual,
at my mom real big.
She just keeps mugging you, Bordrum.
Uh-huh.
Like, she's listening to Corvus, but she's looking at you.
Uh-huh.
yes, in fact, this assassin actually did a really good frame of film too. Had us staying in the guard captain's house while the guard captain was out of town. It was a whole thing that took a day to clear up.
Oh, a whole day.
Trust me, that's not bad for us.
In my defense, I didn't meet him in prison. I was just on the run from the Cerberus Assembly. I wasn't in prison.
Now she looks over at you, Argon.
Oh, hey, that's what it's like to have the weight off my shoulders.
Really? The Cerberus Assembly is looking for you.
Well, I think one of them is like as a
One of them
side thing.
kind of knows where he is.
You know, he just, you know how they are. They just, you know, like to know everything, and so he wants to pick my brain, maybe literally.
Bordrum,
Yes,
go get
Mom.
my stick.
Stick. Okay.
She has a stick.
I know the stick. I just am
Yep.
confused.
What's a stick for?
I come back with the stick, and when I hand it to her, I'm going to be like, remember, they're not actually your children. So if you think this, I'll take it. But for what it's worth,
yeah.
And then I look at it and I go, but for what it's worth, we have done some really, really good things in the world in the last few months. So,
and she's just nodding at you as you're speaking. Then she looks at you, Corvus. So, do you wish to be treated with favoritism in my house?
I mean, if it's earned, sure, but otherwise...
I step back and I'm shaking no. Don't do that.
Now she looks back at you, Sinclair. Yes, sweetheart.
I finished drinking my water and my food, and I just walk up to her and just give her a hug.
She pats you on the side. You're very welcome. Go out, sit on the sofa in the living room real quick, and then we'll get you set up with a bed after I'm done with these three.
Can I show him where the sofa is?
It's right there.
I'll be fuck.
It was a good try.
Sinclair, it's easy. You walked past it on your way in. You noticed it because you went, ooh, soft.
Oh, it's the soft thing. I
Now
just start stumbling that direction.
She looks now at you, Argan. And how about you, boy? Do you wish to have favoritism in my house?
The tone makes me think my answer should be no.
Very well. Hands on the table.
I throw my hand in there too.
I'll put my hands on the table.
I will
very slowly
reservedly put them on the table.
And I look at my mom and I'm like, he's a wizard. Go easy on him.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm kind of...
Keep your heads forward as she walks behind the three of you. And all at once, with a single sweep of her hand, she clocks the back of your heads in one swoop. Whack, whack, whack. You each take 1 point of bludgeoning damage and 3 points of psychic damage. For disappointing Mama.
Now, I didn't even do anything.
You got caught up in a situation that put you in jail that could have hurt you. There's bad people in jail a lot of the time. So, you're not going to do that again. As she pinches your chin and looks you in the eyes. Right?
Well...
She pinches a little harder.
Mama, can I have the stick?
She hands you back the
Uncle
stick.
sent me on the ship to deliver that sword that got me thrown in prison, and if I get to wallop him once, that'd be pretty fun.
Your uncle will get his. But she looks you back in the eyes, Corvus. Not again, right?
None of us.
I will certainly make the effort.
Good boy. As she gives you a gentle kiss on your forehead, which she does to each of the three of you.
Psychic damage goes away.
Yes. But the lingering feeling of disappointing her will never leave.
I'm so glad I'm trash right now. Because I'm probably the worst one of the group. Because hell.
Oh, yeah. But that's it. All right, everybody, finish your meals. I'm going to go set up your beds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're all welcome. She walks out back and heads to the forge, leaving
May
the
I
three
make
of
a
you alone.
perception to see that Sinclair's askew?
What do you mean askew? Like trashed or sleeping?
It says he's passed out, half on the sofa and half hanging over the side.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Fordrum saw that, he would go and straighten him out, get a blanket, cover him up.
Easy enough.
Yeah. And probably while my mom's away, I might cast Sanctuary on him so he sleeps super peaceful. That way when the family shit comes in the room, he doesn't get disturbed. or pranked.
Very good. So you do that, and Sinclair, you immediately just start snoring like a fucking giant. Just
Oh, hell.
I sleep
You look-
like the dead.
as you do that, Fordrum, you start walking past, and you notice your one cousin is sitting there on the stairwell, looking at you in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
The creepy cousin?
Yes, Crum. That was
I
his
look
name,
up at
right?
him.
Crum?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I look up at
Hey.
him and I'm like, what up, Crumb?
Cousin.
And I give him a sort of sidelong look like he's a guest. I know.
Did
No.
you really go to prison?
Oh, yeah.
How was it?
Truthfully, it was just a cell that had a really hard place to sleep. And we were only there for a few hours because then we realized that we were being... I wasn't even supposed to be there. They were framed. They needed to escape. They helped me break out. We snuck out. We figured out that we were framed, who did it, and captured him, and then reported him to the police that arrested us. Cleared our name.
That's really cool. And he stands up quickly and runs up the stairs.
Stop.
Yeah, that one was easy. The other one involved murder. More specifically, a murder squirrel.
Technically, I didn't do that.
Wasn't me. That was the druid. Anyways. So yeah, he runs back upstairs as you walk back over, and I assume you're going to be helping cleaning up all the dishes and everything. And your uncle walks down the stairs around this time and stretches. You didn't realize how late into the evening it got.
Yeah.
All of your siblings are already like in their wind down phase since the work week just started. The first day, they actually sleep 6 hours.
Wouldn't my dad be here instead of my uncle since it's my uncle's shift right now?
No, he is just waking up to then go to the ship.
Got it.
Or, oh no, you're right. Yeah, your dad
Yeah.
would have already left, and then he would be back already. So,
Right.
yeah, your uncle comes inside and goes to sit on the couch to remove his boots, but then sees Sinclair and sighs and goes over to the stairs and looks over in the kitchen at you.
Uh-huh.
What
You
is it?
hungry?
Oh, I'm fucking starving.
Ugh.
I'll throw
Hey.
together a plate for him, a big plate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there is nothing like your mama's cooking, man. Oof. Let me tell you.
You got a minute?
Hey, yeah. It's going to take me a little, well, at least 2 to eat, that's all.
And he just starts shoveling
So-
it into his face.
Yeah. I need to forge something, and I think what it needs is constant heat around 2000. So I'm wondering, while I understand that your forge is set up for it and is in use, is there another place where I could get a hold of that and do something like that?
As you ask him that, he like wipes a large smearing of mashed potatoes off of his beard and throws it back on the plate.
Yeah, I make sure not to mention what they're doing, how they're doing it thing. I just mentioned the temperature, the constant, and their setup. I need wonder of something else. Like I'm doing it as covertly as Fordrum is capable of, which
Fair enough. Well, unfortunately, his first question is,
That's a pretty big heat for it. What are you making?
an ancient, possibly evil, but probably not evil, long sword that was broken thousands of years ago.
Great sword. Argon will chime in.
he'll look back over at you.
I think the Forge Master knows.
I'm just saying
I
what
know
the
you're right.
research
I know
told me
you're
it originally was.
No, you're right. I'm just, he's going to trust his nephew. But
I understand.
potentially easy, but probably not. Or evil.
Oh
but
no.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's not easy. This won't be an easy forge. We're actually shaping stone into a blade.
That sounds really cool. And if I didn't just get done work in 24 hours, that would be all I would be focused on. However, good potatoes.
Yeah, really good potatoes. Mom,
yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, she put the herbs in it this time.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I think she's cooking a little fancier for the guests.
But good. Keep them around. And he points a fork at you when he says that. But yeah, if you're to do something like that, obviously our forge could do it, but if we stop now, we lose 6 months of work, or 3 months of work, and we have 9 more to go. And
no, I don't mean to take any of your time. I just thought I'd see what you.
Well, I meant the forge itself.
Yep.
If it wasn't around the clock, obviously, yeah, of course. But yeah, he reaches into his back pocket and pulls out a crumbled up map and tosses it to you.
Thanks.
That's the pathway of where we got the lava.
I push it out and I'm like, you don't need this? Or do you? You want me to? Should we copy it?
You're gonna give it back after you use it, you little jackass.
I'm gonna copy it because every time we leave somewhere, we rarely make it back to where we started from. Not for any obviously nefarious reasons, but Lord knows. So
I was young once too.
Yep.
Oh God, this turkey.
Did I tell you I killed a dragon?
Yeah, you told me that one. I was surprised. Yeah, that's great. Good, good on you, boy. And he gives you a very large clap on your shoulder.
Thank you.
One of the few men that can physically push you down by slamming your shoulder.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's the map of how we got there, where we got it. Nice little pool as well. It's a little dangerous, obviously. The Yetis have moved out, but a few other nefarious creatures have moved in because of that. So you're going to have to handle all of that. Get yourself the lava. B13 is the bucket we used to transport it.
Okay.
It's lined with adamantium.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it doesn't eat through the metal with the lava itself. While you're transporting it, you are going to have to continually stir it as well, which means it's going to be hefty to actually manage. I suggest you bring a couple of goats with you.
Right.
Obviously. And as for where, I don't think the forge here at home would really do it. Yeah, I think the heat that comes off of that would actually start seeping through the stone and might actually damage and crack it.
Right.
Around the building, so I would suggest... I mean, you could always go to the Cinderella Sanctum, see if they can let you work up there on it, if it's really important. Is it really important?
I came across that name in my research, Fordrum.
Really?
The hilt was originally built there.
Oh.
I don't know much more about it other than my research said that it's somewhere here in the wildlings, but
yeah.
Wait. You're rebuilding something that the Dust family built.
Yeah.
So he leans back on the stairs and rocks a little bit, super excited.
Oh, that is awesome. Oh, if I was a younger man, I could take off work. Oh. Yeah? I mean, I can introduce you if you need.
Is there a quick path to it
No.
From where this pool is?
Oh, from the pool. You actually have to go past it to get there. The pool is sectioned outside of Kravelrad.
And here, I'll show you DM info later.
I see it on the map.
That's Kravelrad.
Yep.
And the Sanctum
It's just south of it.
he'll point it out to you, but it's not marked on the map for obvious reasons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have to go to Kravalrad to get the lava to begin with.
Right.
And then swing back and go to the Sanctum, though the Sanctum works predominantly with lava anyways. So
Right. It might just be able to be done there. They might have it already.
if you're looking for the best forge in all of the world, there it is.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a worthy trip. How long does it take to get there from here?
About 6 days.
Yeah. It's 6 days of hard travel, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. No path.
Right.
You're going to be hoofing it.
Well, I look over at Argon, and I'm like, unless you got a goat his size, I think we're hoofing it. And his size. And I nod over at Corvus also. And I know you probably have some he could ride, but...
Yeah. Not a problem. But yeah, I'll see if I can't get you a letter to bring up there. You know, I studied under them when I was a wee lad, right?
I know, I remember.
Yeah. Oh, that was the glory days. Roughly about 80, 90 years ago.
And then he goes into this very long conversation about how growing up, he was the greatest blacksmith in all of Uthodurn, and he aspired to learn from them, so he went on a grandiose adventure over the course of 6 months, trying to find his way to the Sanctum. And when he eventually arrived, they fed him, they clothed him, and they let him practice underneath them after he bugged them for about another year. It's a very big old man story that he wants to express to everybody. But, yeah. It's definitely one of those back in my day, son, stories.
Oh, yeah.
That you've heard a million times, Wardrum. It's just...
Those were the days. Anyways, I should probably go sleep a little bit.
Yep. Good night.
Do you mind taking my plate back to the kitchen for me?
No, I will gladly.
He holds his hand out for you to help him stand off the stairs.
I'll do, and I know what he's going to do, so I lean all of my weight to try and pick him up, getting ready to put my foot when he lets go.
All right. I need to pose athletics. He has disadvantage.
I'm at disadvantage?
No, he does. He's fucking exhausted, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit, he beat you. Yeah. As you step on his foot and you bring him up with all of your weight, he lets go of your hand, and he almost stumbles but catches onto the side of the wall, but you land flat on your ass, spilling the plate behind you that was in the other hand, and he just... Still to get you, boy.
I just lay there and I look up at the ceiling and I go, I have fallen for that for over 70 years.
He reaches down and helps you up now.
It's alright. Everybody has their day, huh?
You hear your mother from outside. What the hell was that crashing? Whoop! And he just charges up the stairs.
That's me. I dropped a plate. It didn't break.
Wardrum!
I go over and I just lower my head and let her whack me with a stick again.
Yeah. Well, no. She's not going to hit you for that. She hits you for serious things like going to jail. This is more of a wiggle your finger and clean it up, boy.
Is it a serious thing?
Yeah, no, this isn't that serious. It's, dude, in this house, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I am. I very much am.
But anyways,
So-
I set up all of your rooms.
Thank you.
Yes.
I will walk everybody into the room so they can all go to sleep, but I'm going to ask Argon, so you read of the Cinder Sanctum? What else was found out?
So I'll share what I found with everybody about only 2 of the party members would have even been able to wield it, but more than likely it would have been Grog that wielded it. Because it really didn't fit Pike's methodology. At the hilt was forged there.
Yeah.
And that Whitestone was originally a town founded by a family called the
Derulo.
Derulos and Percival, and handing it off to Cassandra. And that's what I found out so far.
Okay. Good to know. Well, then I think that after we do a couple of more little things, I think I still need to cut that diamond. And then once that's finished, I say we take our path north. Agreed? And I look at Corvus and I look at Argon.
Sure.
All right. Well then, good night. Sleep well, gents. And don't worry, I don't think today's boot tomorrow. I think your boots will just be clean tomorrow. I don't think they're going to change much.
They're not going to be resold again.
No, not after one day. Those probably won't need to be resold. Well, until we get back from the services, or the
Cinderella Sanctum.
Yeah, unless of course somebody steps in lava. I'll put this. I'd bet that your boots now could actually withstand a few seconds in the lava, unlike before. Nah,
I
a
mean,
second.
the
Not a
magic. I bet you're right.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we won't see, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's. I'm not going to test it.
No, good. All right.
So, the two of you hunker down where Jasper's already fast asleep. Forgem heads inside, passes by Sinclair, who's still on the couch, and your mom sets up a little glass of water right beside him. And as you're heading up the stairs, she walks beside you, holding onto your arm.
Now you're gonna be safe, right, boy?
I look at her and I go, and I kind of point my eyes at the sky, and I go, I will definitely try.
You know, you're so much like your uncle, it's not even funny.
Well, we'd have spent a lot of time together.
Yeah, that's fair. I like your friends, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah. They're good boys. Little skittish. They'll come around.
Uh-huh.
Though, wherever the hell they got those boots from, you need to throw them in the trash next time. That was so... Oh my god, it wasn't even fitted to them.
Yeah.
Like, Argon, his foot is so narrow.
Yeah.
It was made for an ultra-wide foot. He's as a narrow foot.
But he's so tall. I don't think anybody realizes.
It takes 2 seconds to look at someone's feet, you know?
Well, but
and the other guy has the webbing on his.
Yeah.
It was nowhere near wide enough for his size. It was
Right.
So bad.
I know. Well, thankfully, they've gotten to visit us. So you were able to solve probably their greatest problems, whether they realize it or not.
5 years in those types of boots give you really bad back pain.
Yep.
So, she stops by your room and kisses you yet again on the forehead.
All right,
Thank
sweet
you.
dreams, sweetie.
Good night. I go in and say my prayers.
All right. And I think this is a good place to end the session. We'll be
All right.
back next week. Players, thank you all very much for playing. Viewers, thank you for watching. Hope you all had a fantastic time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.